I see a time is coming that the people of America will go back. I said, Donald Trump, come and contest again. And I'm seeing Donald Trump contesting again to be president of America. Oh, major prophet of God, we are all waiting. We want to know who is going to win the American election. And the Lord said, go and tell them that the only people that will make Donald Trump not to be president of America this time around is what's called electoral courage. Electoral courage are the only people. Apart from electoral courage, I am seeing what's called Donald Trump scuttled in and go to become the American president again. Has got into the house and consumed the house. People of this part of the world will never take anything serious until that thing has caused damage. They will never ever value anything until that thing is coming from outside the world. They will never regard anything until that thing is not in their closest, is not at their reach. That's when they will now say, oh, this thing is important, oh, let's begin to look for it. Oh. If you are a great prophet in Nigeria, they will not value it. If they value it, they will know that a prophet telling them things that will happen, they should take it serious. Because when I said that they should pray for the candidate to be complete on the day of election, because I'm seeing what's called found one thing, they didn't know that was what is there. And what happened? On Monday, the news broke the internet. When the news broke the internet, they were like, oh, what is this? This is what's called revelation, and seeing deeper in the realm of the spirit to be able to dictate what is there and what has been projected right there. Because right now, the Lord wants us to be aware of everything before they begin to happen. It's a thing of joy. It's a thing of happiness. It's a thing of celebration. It's a thing to give God the glory. It's a thing to worship God. What a great God and what a loving Father. What a God that wants to tell his children things before they begin to happen, so that you will not be in what's called a darkness. Remember 2020/2021, after American election, I told you about Donald Trump. And I told you, I said, I see a time is coming that the people of America will go back. I said, Donald Trump, come and contest again. And I'm seeing Donald Trump contesting again to be president of America. To be the president of America. I get the prophecy, people neglected it. I am not in America. I am not an American. And I cannot campaign or begin to campaign for people of America. But what the major prophet of God will do is to glance into the realms of the spirit, to be able to see things before they begin to happen. Because right now, as regarding the American election that is at hand, this is what everybody wants to know. This is what everybody is praying for. This is what everybody wants to know. Who will win the American election? Everybody is interested. Everybody wants to know. But the matter has got to a point that everybody should be aware, because it's not a time that anything can be hidden from you. It's important that you are aware. But before this prophecy will drop tonight, you need to share this broadcast to all your friends, because I don't want, after the prophecy is given, somebody will say, oh, I was not there live, or maybe the thing has happened. That is why they come and prophesy. Major prophet of God does not wait for things to happen before I come out here to now prophesy. I prophesy before the time that begins to happen in the realm of the physical, because I have seen the spiritual world, and the spiritual world is the realm that controls the physical world. And this is neither by power nor by might. This is by the Spirit of God, because when the Spirit of God is at work, the Spirit of God will enlarge and open your eyes and take you to the realms of the Spirit, because the realm of the Spirit is more real than the physical world. And that's why every child of God must pray the prayer, oh Lord, open my eyes. Oh Lord, give me the eye to see. Because everybody have been clamoring and begging and praying and saying, major prophet of God, come and tell us what's going to happen in the American election. And the major prophet of God, I am prepared. Because if you are not prepared, the message will come and you will not know. And when the message comes, it passes you by. And you begin to ask people, what did he say? How did he say? You will now begin to watch the video over and over to now find out what is going to play out right there in American election that is forthcoming. Because if major prophet of God can tell you, oh, pray for our Ghanaian presidential candidate that they be complete on the day of election. If I can tell you this about a month ago and you neglected it and you took it for granted, you say, oh, it doesn't concern me. I said, people of Ghana, listen to what the Lord is saying. And people of Ghana took it for granted, even though major prophet of God is going to storm Ghana next week. When I come to Ghana, it's going to be life and direct. And the prophecy will be what's called accurate prophecy, life and direct, right there in Ghana there. Right there in Ghana. The Lord is going to move like never ever before, because it is what's called face-to-face prophecy and confrontation of what's going to happen right there in the state and the country of Ghana, because a major prophet of God will be live there in Ghana to prophesy live to the faces of millions, over 20 to 30, 40, 50 million people in Ghana, to prophesy to their face of what's going to happen in their own election. Because everything that we want to say, everything we want to do, everything we want to hear, God is the one that knows it all. And because God knows it all, God will never put his people in what's called darkness. The Bible says that God will surely do nothing except first of all reveal what he wants to say to his servant, the major prophet of God. And then God will tell his servant, the major prophet of God, things that will happen. That means the major prophet of God will have to prophesy without looking back. I told you right here, say, pray for the candidate, especially the presidential candidate of Ghana, so that they will be complete on the day of election. And many of you were like, oh, I beg, it doesn't concern me. Don't take my prophecy for granted. It is the voice of the Lord upon the face of the earth. Every prophecy coming from this altar is the voice of the Lord from the throne of grace, that God is showing mercy. God is a merciful God. So I'm going to blow up what's going to happen right there in the American election, because before the time, God has been bringing me, if I can, but by 2021, and I saw that Biden will not contest, that is going to hand it over to Kamala Harris. And the Lord revealed to me, and I prophesied it live. I said that Biden is going to hand it over to Kamala Harris. And when I gave the prophecy, people were like, oh, this is not true. Biden will go second time. And the time came, they were doing primary, and all of a sudden, Biden took up the mentorship again. And somebody said, oh, you see, all these prophets, they can lie. I said, okay, I'm seeing what's called a turnout. A turnout. I'm saying, turn aside. And people were like, oh, what's the meaning of turn out? I said, turn out, because I'm seeing what's called, they should pray, because I'm seeing what's called turn aside. Because when a prophecy is given, and you think prophecy is for joke, prophecy will happen in your eye, woto, and you will be shocked. Instead of you to appreciate God and thank God for what God is doing, don't come and be selling or trying to now run down the grace of God, because this is not by power, this is not by might, this is not human making, this is not by human strength. This was called the Spirit of God in the life of a man. And the songwriter said, something more than gold, something more than gold. The Spirit of the Lord in the life of man is something more than gold. Hallelujah. Something more than gold. Hallelujah. Something more than gold. Hallelujah. Spirit of the Lord in the life of man is something more than gold. Hallelujah. Something more than gold. Hallelujah. Something more than gold. Hallelujah. Spirit of the Lord in the life of man is something more than gold. It's something more than gold. Something more than gold. The Spirit of the Lord in the life of man. Something more than gold. This is not the strength of the major prophet of God, so that you don't get me wrong. This is not, oh, major prophet of God is the greatest man of God on the face of the earth. No, I cannot boast of any position. But as long as heaven is concerned, God has determined and decided to use major prophet of God beyond every human comprehension, down to your own peril. Because major prophet of God, I am not an instrument of human. I am the instrument of Jehovah God, not by my making, not by my strength, not by my willing, but the will of God and what God has decided to do upon the face of the earth. So that people who try to copy, they copy to their own peril. A major prophet of God will have the word to prophesy things, and they begin to happen. The only thing you can do for yourself is to share the broadcast. Let people see it. Not to copy. Share the broadcast. Tell the major prophet of God has prophesied the will of God. Because what's going to happen in American election has already been tabulated and given the major prophet of God. And I'm having to right now, as I'm talking to you, right on this table, I'm going to read it out as the Lord has given to major prophet of God to prophesy. And I told the people, I said, Biden is not going to contest. And people mocked me. Say, look at Biden, have taken it. I said, I'm saying it's thrown aside. And they say it's a joke. And before you know it, it happened exactly as was prophesied. And I told people, and I said, I am seeing in the realm of the spirit what's called an attack. They should pray for American presidential candidate. I am seeing an attack, especially the man called Donald Trump. That I'm seeing what's called an attack, and this was called assassination attack in the month of May. I prophesied life there and here. You all are my witness. And I said they should pray for God to avert what was spiritually and programmed by the enemies to do that. You were here live when I gave the prophecy, and you were like, oh, how can this be possible? America has all the security and everything. I don't doubt America has it all. But God is still having a mind that can see beyond all the security and see what is already there in the realm of the spirit and in the realm of the physical, what is about to happen. And God opened the eye of the major prophet of God, and I dictated it up. And I began to pray about it. And we prayed about it. And in the month of July, behold, what was prophesied live and direct here came to pass. And the Lord averted it. This is the prophecy that should call all the world leaders, all the international community, and all the people that matters to take the prophecy of major prophet of God serious, and now begin to look up to God and know that this is not human comprehension. Because God has given to the world his voice and his instrument to talk to the world before the time. And after that prophecy, we all saw what happened, and God saved Donald Trump. And I came up again and said, there's a danger ahead. Another what's called an assassination attack. The second time is coming. They should pray. And the prayer was done. The program for that assassination failed because a prayer was said right on this altar as the Lord was busy revealing to major prophet of God to monitor everything and follow it up spiritually, because we don't want problem for people of America. Because if America sneezes, some countries of the world will have headache. If America should be in trouble right now, many countries of the world will run a tasketa. I'm telling you the truth. Take it for granted. You see. And that actually played out. And I said another one the third time. And we all heard what happened the third time. That is a proof that God is not a man. That's a proof that God is always using somebody to speak. That's it, that God is always at work talking. It's left for the world to hear. He said, let him that has ear hear what the Spirit is saying. And let he who want to hear the voice of God be ready for God to speak to you. Don't be among the people who never care to hear about the voice of God. You're looking at the God speaking and you say, oh, that doesn't concern you. It doesn't matter. Then you are not ready to, understand God and how God works. So today at this hour, I'm going to dive in to what's called the American election and what's going to happen right there between the two candidates that are contesting for American election. But don't forget, I've always told you everything that is going to play out. We must pray the prayer right now, because prayer is important to not also let American election not be like African election, that is called election of fighting and election of quarreling, election of struggling and election of what's called rioting. We must pray against this. Take this serious now and get ready. Take this serious. We must pray against that, because that's what's already in the realm of the spirit that we must pray against. And then somebody was like, oh, major prophet of God, we are all waiting. We want to know who is going to win the American election. Because in the realm of the spirit, last year, 4 years ago, the major prophet of God came up here and I prophesied everything that's going to happen in the election and who is going to win. And it came to pass that way. It came to pass that way. And today, major prophet of God, I am here to talk to you so that you can be able to pray. We need to pray for America. We need to support them. We need to stand with them. We need to let God have mercy and show his mercy. If not for anybody, but for people in America. And somebody said, a major prophet of God is like you like a candidate. I am not a man that says I like a candidate. But I am a man that follows what the voice of God is telling me, because I wouldn't want to go any other way. Don't forget the prophecy that I gave you when there was impeachment time of Donald Trump. I told you the impeachment will not stand, and the impeachment will not work, because God is not done with Donald Trump. And right now, the Lord also revealed to me, Donald Trump should now do what he needs to do, but right away, it is time to now let the cat out. We need to pray for America, because I'm saying that what's called election is right there going on. And as election is going on, and the Lord said, go and tell them that the only people that will make Donald Trump not to be president of America this time around is what's called electoral courage. Electoral courage are the only people. Apart from electoral courage, I am seeing what's called Donald Trump scuttled in and go to become the American president again. The only people that will say, oh, no, or this, that, it's called the electoral college. I'm not campaigning for anybody. I'm not doing for anything. But this issue and what leads to what's called electoral college to do anything is only on two parameters. The first parameter is lack of agreement with them can cause this. But when agreement with them is sorted, the issue of becoming the next American president will be impossible to stop. Somebody will say, but we don't like him or this or that. I myself am not an American to come and say, I like this one or I like the other one. Don't get me wrong, and don't worry me for nothing. Look at me as a prophet, as a messenger that is looking at the spiritual world and begin to dictate things the way they are in the realms of the spirit, and begin to prophesy them the way I see them, because I am not going to now see things and say the otherwise. Because the only people that can say this cannot go is electoral college. Electoral college. And this electoral college are after the voting, the people that determines and the people that decide, and they call them the people that decision making. So let nothing negative happen there, because this is what is going to now trigger all of the things I've been telling you to pray against. Because the reason for this is that major prophet of God, every prophecy I give here is consequential. They follow each other and they back up each other. Because when I told you, I said that Biden is not going to contest, you said it's a no. That, oh, watch out and see. And the time came, he took up the ticket. As he took up the ticket, the next prophecy that came, that there's going to be a thrown out. And the thrown out and the thrown aside finally happened to complement the first prophecy, and they were able to line up together. Because major prophet of God, I am not in the prophetic for gainsay. I'm not in the prophetic for gazing of words. I'm not in the prophetic to come and say things when the spirit has not moved the major prophet of God to say it. And this is why major prophet of God, I will not prophesy until when the Lord say, go ahead and speak. And you see me come here and speak, because we are looking at the spiritual world and we are looking at the physical world, and that's what's called standing in the gap, and also see what's called the bridge, the spiritual world and the physical world, to bring them together, where the voice of the Lord will come from the realms of the spirit and speak to the people in the realm of the physical through the instrument that God and God alone is using. So I'm not saying this for you to now come and bring the respect or the honor to major prophet of God. All the honor, all the glory is unto God, who sitteth in heaven and uses a man, just like as I am owning this microphone on and off, and use it for whatever purpose I want to use it for. That's why I sang a song here. I said, where me digima, and then go where mo chimu, where me digima, where me digima, and then go where mo chimu, where me digima. And I said, use me, Lord, use me for your purpose. I give my life to you. Jesus, use me for your purpose. I say, use me, Lord. I say, use me for your purpose. I give my life to you. me for your purpose. Use me, Lord. Use me for your purpose. I give my life to you, Jehovah. Use me for your purpose. Where me take it back. Hey, take it back. I say, use me, Lord. Use me for your purpose. I give my life to you, Jehovah. Use me for your purpose. Take it back. And this is what's called finally the voice of the Lord has spoken about who to win American election. So take it there, and that is what is there in the realm of the spirit. And the next country we must look at is what's called the Ghana election. I have already given you prophecies of what's going to happen right there in Ghana election and how it is all going to play out. And I look at the spiritual world, and somebody want to get angry. You want to get angry with the major prophet of God, or you want to get angry with God? In a barachukumba, a bachara yamba igakuye. Allow God to say what he wants to say. Allow God to do what he wants to do. Allow God to visualize and give us the vision, just like when I begin to give prophecy about the country Nigeria. Some people now pick offense and get angry. You pick offense, you get angry. Are you angry with the major prophet, or you're angry with God, or you're angry with your country? What anger is it that you're putting up? Stop getting angry with the major prophet of God, because the major prophet of God is just an instrument to be used by God. You know, I told you, I said the American election, and I told you everything about Ghana election. I said in the election of Ghana and what's about to happen in Ghana, I told you to pray. Because one of the things that will happen before the election day is for what's called a candidate to not be among, not be complete. The presidential candidate not being complete on the day of election. Now you said on Monday, one of the candidates that was very healthy and everything, all of a sudden they said his body is doing somehow, and before you know it, the news is she's dead. It's a presidential candidate. In fact, it's either number what? I've forgotten the number right there in the ballot paper that's going to be voted for. And I told you this a month ago. And the purpose of this is for you to now pray the prayer that needed to be prayed. Who is to be blamed here? Is it the major prophet of God, or God to be blamed, or yourself? Because people that are concerned are not taking the prophecy serious. They don't take this major prophet of God serious. They take major prophet for granted. And the major prophet have recorded the highest in the wide world in prophesying things that will happen. When it comes to people that are prophesied or said things in the world and they come to pass, major prophet has recorded the highest. If you know the highest, tell me. Or you want to talk about Nostradamus? Nostradamus was in the centuries we don't know. So we're talking about real time, the real deal. Whether it is last 50 years or last 20 years, major prophet of God has given the highest number of prophecies that came to pass in Nigeria, in Africa, in America, in all over the world, concerning presidency, concerning government, concerning individuals, concerning what's called everything on the face of the planet Earth, concerning the nature, the ozone layer, concerning climate, and concerning all of these things, both earthquakes, both signs in the air, both days of rain to fall, both days of different things to happen on the face of the earth. Major prophet of God, by the Spirit of God and the grace of God, has prophesied the highest. Yet this highest does not make major prophet to puff up. This highest does not make major prophet to come out there and make noise. This does not make major prophet of God to see myself as God, but this has humbled the major prophet the more, that I should be more humble to my creator, to my maker, and bow myself before the altar, bow myself before the cross, and bow myself before the maker of heaven and earth, that God alone should be God over my life. So, but little people and people who have not seen anything, you see them carry themselves puff up, begin to do all of these things, because they are still flesh. Flesh is still controlling them. So, major prophet of God, don't get angry with me. If the prophecy is for Biafra, don't get angry with me. If the prophecy is for Nigeria, don't get angry with me. If the prophecy is for Africa, don't get angry with me. If the prophecy is for America, don't get angry with me. If it is for the people in Nigeria, don't get angry with me. Whatever the prophecy may be, don't get angry with the major prophet of God. Another issue that we must look at is what's called the Nigerian system. Don't forget when I told you a few months ago, like a month plus ago, I said pray for Nigerians, all the service chiefs. I told you to pray for service chiefs. I told you to pray. You remember what I